Well, this is the first mission that we want to present to you, the STS-125 by Shuttle Atlantis. And as usual, the first day of the mission is always, by some coincidence or curiosity, the most intense day in UFO sightings.
I want to say something. All these are spacewalks by the astronauts. We have seen that every time that there is a spacewalk, there are UFOs very close to the missions. It's like if they are watching, if something happens, I don't know exactly what.
And besides that, the images that you are seeing, like this one, the next mission, STS-127, by Shuttle Endeavour, well, all these images are broadcast by NASA on their own satellite. And as you can see, suddenly appear strange objects, luminous objects. We don't know what they are. We call them UFOs because of the characteristics, the speed. Sometimes they change movement, like this one. This is very interesting. You can see like it's like rotating, has some kind of appendices or something. Well, every sighting or every image where these objects appear show different features. This is a beautiful one. On the upper part of the screen, you are watching our planet. This is at nighttime, and you can see many objects passing by. Sometimes these objects approach either the shuttle or the International Space Station. In this mission, the next one, STS-128, by Shuttle Discovery, we can see not only one, but two. These images are becoming more familiar for us because we follow 24 hours a day for 15 days or 16 of there is something also interesting. These new recent missions are very different from the first ones. The first ones, the images were almost black and white, but at the same time you could see the background full of stars and objects and whatever. But suddenly it seems that they changed maybe the lens of the camera, so maybe they changed the camera. And now it's hardly to see in the background. This is a very interesting sequence in which you can see from inside of the shuttle, there is, through the window, a small object pulsating that is passing by. These are the kind of images that we definitive think are anomalies in space. Also, as Jaime said, this is a spacewalk, and as you can see, suddenly appear an unknown light, an unknown object, and sometimes exhibits a strange feature like this one. Now you are seeing this big orb, and also some reflection or some strange appearance, like in this moment. Now this is controversial, and we know that. I mean, we realize all these images are controversial, but we are showing you exactly what is happening in space.
But
now,
I've
like
never seen anything like we saw before. You know?
Yes, and of course we are very familiar with, by now, with all these anomalous objects, and we made a selection every time that we come here to the Congress of what we think is the most interesting. As you can see, this is the shuttle. Sometimes the object appear more slow, sometimes more faster. Now this is very interesting. As you can see, the camera operator moved the camera and suddenly detected some objects on the surface. Now this is where the shuttle landed, and of course all the missions have been very successful. We must recognize that NASA has been doing a terrific job in space, and this is the recent one. Yeah. Just 2 weeks ago, the STS-130 mission by Shuttle Endeavour, STS-130, as usual. Anomalous objects, as you can see in the lower part of the screen, sometimes they appear in large number, sometimes alone, sometimes they make strange movements, or as you are going to see in the next clip. Well, this is interesting. This is like some image from a Star Trek picture, but not. This is the real thing in space. As you can see, many things traveling, sometimes more faster, and you are going to see 2 or 3. Look in the lower part of the screen, a big pulsating object. Now, these images is exactly what I'm talking about. These are anomalous things in the space, but you know, this kind of images sometimes appears only in seconds, so we have to be very sure to record them. This is another one. As you can see, the shuttle Endeavour was approaching the International Space Station, and suddenly what you are seeing in the top of the shuttle is the device that docks to the International Space Station. And this is a long sequence in which you can see suddenly so many objects passing by. Well, can you imagine? Well, the astronauts are there. They can say one of the wonders of the world, but it's not on Earth, but also this is in space, but it's a wonderful piece of engineering of the human talent. Now, please see in the lower part of the screen, look what is appearing. What you are seeing is the International Space Station, but look what is appearing right there. Look the size, it's huge. What is that? And suddenly, let's make a zoom to see the shape, and you tell me, what does it look for you? Isn't that a saucer-shaped object?
This just happened last week. You are the first to see these images. This is a mission. This is the last mission.
This is very interesting. This object seems to be
behind the panels.
Behind the panels. Now, we are familiar with this incident because 2 years ago we presented a similar incident that we are going to remember. But look first the behavior of this UFO. And it was then changed position and moved to the other solar panels, which, by the way, are huge, are very, very, very big. And it was like reviewing in some way the panels, we don't know. And these images were very familiar with us because 2 years ago we have a similar incident in which took us by surprise, by the way.
Yeah, it was the mission 116 in December 22nd, 2006. And then we learned that this intelligence seems to be very interested in the solar panel.
Yes, this is the STS-116.
The object is in the other side of the solar panels.
But look the size, and look what he's doing. And also the camera operator is very interested in this action. Yes, this took place at early hours in the morning, 3 o'clock, I think. So look how the camera operator in Houston is following the action, and look that. This is simply, oh yes, of course. I mean, you know, space is mysterious, magic, and these images tell you a lot of things. And finally, Jaime?
Yeah, this is the new observatory that was installed in the International Space Station. Probably you haven't seen it. It's beautiful. They can see 360 degrees around them, and I'm very sure they will see many things through here. Now they have a real window to see the world, to see everything around the Earth and around them. It's really unfortunate that the space is going to be affected by the reduction of the budget to do the investigation in the space. I hope this can change in the next few months, in the next few years, and the United States will continue to be the leader there, letting us know what is out there.
So farewell, Endeavour. The era of the shuttles are coming to an end, and let's wait to see what the future brings to us.
The Endeavour, this was the last trip to Endeavour to space. You can see this object in the space moving. It's so much higher than any airplane, and it's not a satellite because we can see other objects moving in different directions. If these were satellites, it would move just in one direction. Here
now,
you have in two different directions.
Yes, now it increases the speed, and there is another one on the opposite direction. Do you see it?
It's exactly what they see in the space. You can see it from your home. And look at, now look at this one. This is, the next is very impressive to me. And this is the work of William Rawlings. He has his booth there, and you can look what happened. Is this the one? No.
No, it's the following. Just wait to see what you are going to see. Is an amazing display, because we just call that. Just follow this light that is pointing Jaime, and look what is going to happen right there. And then, you see it? Look at that. And then, isn't that a demonstration? And remember, this was recorded with the night vision goggles by William in Monterey, California, and in his home, outside, in the garden. He, yeah, and he records every day. He's a devoted sky watcher, wonderful work of research.
Okay, now you can see these objects very close to the sun, and if this is real, of course this is the sun, it would be the size of our planet. If these are UFOs, these are as big as our planet. And we are going to continue observing this. I mean, we are going to follow this process because the explanation that NASA gave us is unacceptable. They say that it's a failure of the system, and etc., etc. These are some of the main events in Mexico and around the world.
Ты меня знаешь, я храбрющина. Появится кошка, собью ее сном. Я тявкать умею рычать, умею своих и чужих отличать. Котята боятся меня как огня. Скажи мне по совести, примут меня?
Хорошо. Молодец. Ух ты, смотри, молодежь, что там на улице? Шарик какой-то.
Ух ты!
Ух ты, как интересно, что это за шарик такой?
НЛО, может быть?
Да какие НЛО? Разве бывает НЛО? Смотри-ка, он двигается, да?
Ну вот.
Такая же ситуация сталкивалась с зенитными орудиями.
Похоже на каплю.
Поступила Знамская. Механизмы стрельбы подозрительным образом
Я тоже сниму.
у всех этих орудий были собраны
Ух
неправильно.
ты.
Все это в очередной раз подтвердило информацию спецслужб о наличии в Кремле некой группы людей, желающих создания мятежного генерала.
I think this is very interesting because it's very similar to the many spheres that many people have recorded in Mexico and around the world. And now we have one of those spheres. Many people have told us this, that they come close to the houses, they observe people through the windows, and they get very, very close. But we never had a video like this. And that's why I think it's very meaningful. Become one of the centers of the activity of this phenomenon. And this is very interesting because it's very similar to a UFO that was photographed in Mexico last year. Watch it. we haven't found any trace of manipulating the image. And this was very interesting because last year we had these 4 photographs, and just in the first one that was taken by a young kid, 14-year-old young kid inside the school, and all his friends saw the picture that was taken, and we thought, if you remember the Mauricio Ruiz case in Alvin, Texas, this was taken the next night. And we think was very interesting, this was taken by a neighbor next house to Mauricio Ruiz, who took the incredible UFO video that we presented in the last 2 years, and which has proved that produces 25th of April, a fleet, like we have seen many in Mexico. The same night in Slovakia was also recorded by the police, a fleet. This was videotaped by the police in Slovakia. It's interesting because now the fleet phenomenon is all around the world. If you remember, a few years ago we talked this and was almost in Mexico, exclusively in Mexico. Now it's around the world. I'm going to present now, with the permission of my... He has a GL1 camera by Canon. It's discontinued, but if you get one and you can put an, a complement to the lens,
an accessory,
you can duplicate to 200x. This is another video he recorded very early in the morning, 5:20. It was getting clear. You can see the UFO, and you can see this dog barking to the UFO. And the best video that Yalcin Yalman, I believe, has he ever recorded was in May 17, 2009. I don't know if Haktan Hagdogan, who is the expert in this, agrees, but you can see the object and you can see one of the creatures inside with the door open. And there are at least 4 doors open. And this is very important because this time Yalcin Yalman had a reference point, which is the moon. The moon is there. Without cutting the take, he goes back to the object. He zooms in, and then you can see that the object is there. And the camera is really powerful. Why are all these objects appearing over the Marmara Sea or Marmara Sea? Recorded a very interesting UFO the 21st of May. I never seen a UFO like this. This is the last important image that he got. He has continued observing the sky. I am pretty sure very soon he will have another beautiful sighting, and probably something else in the future. I believe he's being prepared for something really, really big. I consider him the new Billy Mayer. I've been there, and I can tell you all these images are real. And this is the video you talked to them, right?
Yes. Now to the big part of the show. Look in the center how the big UFO is spinning and at the same time releasing 2 rows on it, of spheres.
Hundreds of spheres.
Hundreds. So the spheres went away. And then the big UFO slowed down the rotation. But wait to see what happened next.
Then four little spheres come around and go around the object, like recognizing the mother and going now away. And they come back and they create what we call fleet. Probably this is a very important video because for the first time we now know how these spheres come. This is the second video.
By Alfredo Carrillo. Look.
Releasing so many.
Yeah.
You see, it's in the opposite direction, and now they look black. But it's exactly the same. We have been able to see every detail, and you can see how they look intelligent. They're not just going away, they're in a line. The object now is speeding up and slowing down.
This is a comparison of both videos. Do you like it? Well, this is something, let me tell you, huh? Certainly one of a kind. And
even now, look, you cannot almost see it, but the spheres, the little black spheres are around as the other ones are here. It's just the same moment. Because many people were saying, oh, that was created with a computer. But then, fortunately, we have the second witness. We have the name of both. We know where they were. May, we had a fleet. We can see how this fleet is moving. And now this sphere, recorded by Antonio Ursi, the 2nd of July in Capilla del Monte in Argentina. He was again invited to have a presentation in Argentina. And then he recorded probably the best video ever that I've seen from a sphere. But this was not in his country, this was...
And there are several witnesses you are going to see to this sighting.
Very close to Mount Uritorco, which is a legend in Argentina as a place of sightings. They took...
Here are the witnesses. They are excited by this sighting, quite unique.
Hola, perro.
And also the dog. Now this is in China.
July 22nd, 2009. We have the same kind of total solar. The Chinese government took all these images and they promised to give an answer in 1 year. I don't know why they will take a year to have an answer of something that is so obvious. But for the first time, this is an official promise. I don't know if they will keep this promise, but we can see these objects somehow similar to those recorded in Mexico on the same event. What this means? It means that these intelligences use these kind of events to present themselves. Are they markers? Because after this happened in China, the same kind of phenomenon started in China. That is a flap. We can remember very fast the eclipse in Mexico. We can see now the old cameras that we were using 18 years ago in Mexico, the VHS cameras, if you remember that.
This was an historic event that began the amazing Mexican UFO way, July 11, 1991, and there it is.
This is David Arreguin footage, the first that was presented after we presented this in television. This video changed my life because when I presented this in television, receiving videos, this was the second video, the same object, then some people said, oh, has to be Venus, has to have an explanation. However, fortunately, we had a third video that I believe proves that this doesn't have a conventional explanation. You can see both. And now this is the third video, and please watch how the object is very near a dot, which we think is Venus. The camera goes down. When it goes up, the dot is not there. The dot is above the object. Here you have it, okay? It's two dots, as a matter of fact, which I think are Venus and Mercury. But then, when the object moves and the camera moves, the dot is not there. The dot is here. Then it proves that the object in 3 minutes moved very far away from the dots. And for that reason, this cannot be considered Venus. And from then on, we have so many sightings in Mexico. Okay, we continue through the year in the world. Antonio Ursi again, now downtown Milan. And we can see now again a fleet in Milan. The same spheres.
Just like in Mexico, the phenomena, and it was recorded also by the TV news cameras.
Oh yeah, it was
By the media.
recorded by the Ray Television.
Look, like there, Ray Television. So there is no mistake. This is a real UFO fleet in Italy, in Milan.
I think are the same objects that were observed in Second World War. We have another fleet in Mexico City, again, 29 of September. Not very clear, they are very high, but they are there.
City Noticias de las 8.
November 20th, now it's in Bogota, in Colombia. In Mexico, people are not amazed anymore. No, nothing happens. Oh, we have a big sighting. Oh, yeah, one more time, and that's it, you know? No problem is that many times, close to the airplanes, you can see.
There it is, a UFO. And look at that. So
A
intense
very
light.
energetic object.
These are the actual UFO sightings that we're having in Mexico City, among other things. But wait, because what you are going to see next is extremely weird and bizarre. Jaime and I are very disconcerted. This is another fleet.
This is another fleet, 5 of December.
Black
2009.
objects. Maybe in this fleet happens the same thing, that the sun is on the
The
back.
sun is on the other side. When the
That's
sun
why
is
you
on the
can
other
see it.
side,
Yes.
they look black.
But as you can see, the formation all the time is preserved, no mistake, and the UFO
And
fleet.
now,
But
as-
wait,
As Santiago said, this is really, really weird.
you know, this sighting, we are very disconcerted by this thing in the sky.
What is this?
We don't know how to call it. Just watch carefully, and it's morphing itself. What can it be? This is in Mexico City. A video by one of our most respected sky watchers. But look, the lights and the strange dark, like cloud or like strange substance around. But I mean, these are the kind of sightings that we are having now in Mexico.
It's like a cloud with and has energy inside, or what? Or what?
And it's huge. So we are now having strange sighting of an unknown kind.
This is really unexplainable. And this was recorded a week ago.
At certain times, it looked like a flying humanoid. You remember the flying humanoid sightings, also very weird phenomena. And sometimes the light is so intense, we think it has its own light. It's not the sunlight which reflecting, but
Probably
again,
you remember the one that was recorded in 2005 by Horacio Roquet.
this is the most
Another flying
mysterious.
humanoid.
The most mysterious of all flying humanoids. Look at that. And it has some kind of device on the feet and also a light. So what do you think? Would you like to witness something like this outside of your home?
There is a legend. Quetzalcoatl is from 2007, and I present this because you can clearly see how this thing, whatever it is, changes colors. When it changes colors, you cannot say it's a balloon, a group of balloons together, or what. It's the same object, but now has different colors, or different shape, or different, how you say,
Different characteristics, and it's interesting to see how it moves smoothly. It's a very high altitude, you know, it's a very high altitude. So it attracts our attention, how it keeps all the time the same characteristics in its shape.
different
It
pattern.
doesn't bend.
Okay.
So at that altitude, now this is another one.
This is from November the 8th, 2009, and this is Arturo Robles Gil, again recording this. You can see the movements of these things, and you can consider that it is prohibited to fly these kind of things in Mexico, because the airport is almost downtown Mexico City. Then to have this in downtown, in the central part of Mexico, is really dangerous, because these objects
This is interesting. This video is interesting. You can see the small orb?
The size of these objects is around 50 meters, probably.
Many times these objects release spheres, or many times there are what we call the vigilante, big sphere very near.
Okay, now we have a different UFO hunter, which is Octavio Hernandez, and he records. Okay, let me put the fleet because you didn't see it. And I believe there is a relation too between these objects and the presence of the so many spheres. Here you have something similar and different at the same time. The movements, the shape is like a scratching, yes.
And there it is, again, a small sphere to the right. Well, these kind of shapes always disconcert us because the size, the movement, sometimes airplane came closer. I think we have a clip, is that right, Jaime?
Hmm?
I think we have a clip with an airplane
Yes.
passing by very close,
Yes, we have.
and but there has not been a
Again-
single accident yet.
Again, we have a fleet after the presence of the object, like it releases all the spheres. The legend says that Quetzalcoatl the divine serpent would come back to claim its kingdom. And that would happen before the end of times. This is a new UFO hunter. It's Ismael Lopez, and he has recorded beautiful, beautiful videos where you can see the movements of the objects or organisms or whatever they are. This has to be huge. This has to be more than 50 meters long, probably 100 meters, bigger than an airplane. And if an airplane confronted with these things could have an accident, a crash, even if these things go inside the turbines, would stop the airplane, even if they were balloons, then this is terribly dangerous. Sometimes they are with us, what we call a sentinel, a little sphere that watches very close to the big object. You can see that. And look how fast both are moving now. It's like the little thing is taking the big one away.
Now you're going to see the video that I was talking about.
This is the one with the airplane.
Yes.
Santiago.
Just watch carefully because you will see the airplane, commercial airplane, passing by very close.
As a matter of fact, an American Airlines plane.
Look at that. And look. Well, that was very risky. And you see?
As you know, I am very, I have a passion for the crop circles. I go there every year, and I am sorry for those who think that this is not real. For me, it is. I've been walking there. I have seen so many things in the middle of the rain. I have seen the details inside the formation, and I really think these are messages, these are signs that are appearing every year, as Michael Glickman said, as love letters that are left under our door. This year we had something very interesting. This formation appeared in 3 different stages. That was the first, this was the second, and the third one, it was a message. We have to analyze this message. We've been trying. We find pyramids there. We find serpents there. We have find many signs that look like all scriptures from all cultures. This looks Aztec. Many times the formations look Mayan. This is the inconclusive because it appeared in 2 different fields, in corn and, in wheat and we say pastizal and in grass. This is Mayan. This is talking about the sun cycles. We have to be very careful with the sun. Believe me, I think if something happens in 2012, the sun is going to be responsible. Now the activity of the sun is growing very, very fast. It is slowed down for 3 years. I was there when this formation appeared. It rained all night, all night. It was really wet that morning. And it was there, and it was perfect. And this is a beautiful owl. Look at it now, how beautiful it is, how perfect it is. Look how nice is this formation, how complex it is. And this was the last. And this, according to some, is the sun and the wind of the sun. I don't know. As you remember, we have many formations this year in different countries: Germany, Italy, Spain, Russia, different countries, Slovakia. Okay. You see the phenomenon is growing, and these are signs. And if you look inside the formations, the detail we found last year is like they are handmade now. It was amazing. Look at it. For those who think that this can be done in a simple manner. We saw so much more last year. For many, this was the most important season ever. And look at this one. A friend of mine recorded this. Next day, a formation was there. We remember last year this incredible cross. I don't think it has a religious meaning. I think it's a message of love. I think it's a message to remind us that we have to love each other, that we have to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. I think so many times that phrase has been repeated that doesn't make sense to many. But just think about this. The world would be different if we love the neighbor as we love us. And I think that's the key for the future. That's the key for 2012 and beyond. We have 3 crosses last year. The last one had a message in binary codes, and this message was very simple. It's a letter, it's a word of 6 letters, which is beware. It's the second message. We had the first one in 2002, much pain, but it's still time. Second, beware. I think the third is coming, and it's going to be the key for what it means, really. When we arrived, this formation had been caught, but it was surprising because it was still there, like it was waiting for us. And then we remember this from 2005, August 14, 2005, 7 spheres making this beautiful cross in
Florida.
San Petersburg?
No, San Petersburg,
In
Florida.
St. Petersburg in Florida, just 15 days before Katrina. And we have this from December 2008 in Russia. What it means is what I told you. It's not religious, it's very human. And the way to confront any kind of danger is by being together. It's very difficult. I understand it's like almost utopic. But I think we have to find a way to be brothers again. Something very incredible. And you can see here this large pyramid floating over the Kremlin.
нескольких часов. На одном ролике объект заснят ночью из окна машины, а на другом, вот вы сейчас видите его, днем. Оба видео о вторжении инопланетян, в кавычках, естественно, были сделаны любителями. Однако тема НЛО, как обычно, стала настоящей сенсацией. И ролики попали в топ русскоязычной версии YouTube. Как написала по этому поводу британская Daily Telegraph, журналисты сообщили об НЛО, но никаких комментариев из официальных источников сделано не было.
И вот это сейчас мы увидим. Фигура правильной пирамидальной
It was presented by all the newscasts in Russia.
Своей оси. В интернете уже полно комментариев, в частности на YouTube. Кто-то уверен, что инопланетяне заинтересовались политической жизнью
It is not
России.
very clear, but it's there, and it's more than 1,000 meters long.
Сердце столицы. Скептики, как
Just
всегда,
consider that, what it means.
что это голографические спецэффекты.
And we have something similar in the morning presented by the news. We don't know if it's the same. We don't know if it's the same place or it's a different place. But this was also presented by the Russian media. We are trying to make a deep investigation in Moscow to understand what happened, because on June 29, 2003, we have the same in Mexico City. This is the cover of an important newspaper in Mexico, Uno más Uno, 1 plus 1. And you can read here, it's a commotion thousands, more than 50 meters per side, and it's gray, and was seen close to Santa Fe Center, which is outside Mexico City. This was recorded at 23rd of May 2009 by Arturo Robles Gil. Looks also like a pyramid above Mexico City. The same next month, the month after this, was recorded in Southampton, in England. These UFOs, these pyramid UFOs, or whatever you want to call them, are becoming common around the world. And I think we should look to them carefully. This was recorded in Metepec, November 22nd, 2009, by Pedro Hernandez, one more time.
And as you can see, the shape is very clear. It's a triangle shape UFO, more like a pyramid shape, and it's descending, as you can see here. Now these videos are important because reveal that these kind of objects really exist and are appearing.
On December 11th, again in Russia, the Russia television presented this object. You can see some of the images, and you can tell me if you think this is a missile. Is this a sign in the sky? These are some of the videos, and you can clearly see a big black hole that is created inside. Is this a dimensional door? Is this a message? What it is? The thing is that this has happened before. It happened in China in 1988.
At that time, the Chinese TV news gave a full report of this strange phenomena in the skies of China. As you can see, very similar to the one from Norway.
It changed of directions. Please look at it very carefully.
This changed directions from one side to the other.
It's going one side and then the other.
So we discovered this in the archive, and we made a comparison. And look how similar they are. And then,
this is very important because we have a very old proof. We have petroglyphs all around the world with these spirals. I've seen them, and
these are the petroglyphs which have been considered at least 3,000 years old.
No, 1,000 no, 5,000, 10,000,
some of them
20,000 years old.
And they are all over.
All over the world.
But now we have some link with the spiral.
It means that these are signs. Look at this. These are in England, and it's almost the same. And we have many. We present you just a couple of examples from England. But now, something even more extraordinary. In February 18th, 2010, we have something that had never happened before.
And also
this
in Norway.
is in Finland. This is Tromsø. This is Tromsø, Norway. This is Aurora.
And there it is.
In Valoya, Norway, we have the third spiral in the sky as an aurora. Are these signs in the sky? Are these signs on earth? It's the Bible says before the end of times you will see signs on the earth and on the sky, right? And this is not in the ground. Now we're looking that in the sky. If we read the Bible, we can clearly see many times a big sign appear in the sky, and the people pray. Okay? Now we try to explain everything we see. It's not a sign.